The air crackled with anticipation. It was that special time of year just days before Christmas. A feeling of joy seemed to hum beneath the everyday bustle. Everywhere, people were caught up in the season's excitement. The spirit of Christmas was impossible to ignore. It was in the air, just like the snow soon to fall. Families were busy preparing for the holiday. They shopped for presents, baked delicious treats, and decorated their homes. Kids, full of anticipation, dreamed of Santa Claus. Christmas Eve was just around the corner. It held the promise of magic and wonder. The quaint town of Maplewood was no exception to the Christmas spirit. Nestled among snow-dusted hills, Maplewood was a picture of charm. As the sun began to set, the town twinkled to life. Christmas lights adorned every home and shop. They cast a warm glow upon the snow-covered streets. The scent of pine and cinnamon filled the air. It wafted from doorways, inviting everyone inside. Carols played softly from speakers. Their cheerful melodies drifted on the breeze. Laughter echoed through the streets. It mingled with the gentle jingling of sleigh bells. Maplewood was a scene straight out of a holiday postcard. Snow began to fall, softly at first, then steadily. Each flake danced and twirled. They were like tiny ballerinas gracing the evening sky. The snow transformed the town into a glistening winter wonderland. Trees stood majestically. Their branches were heavy with a pristine blanket of white. The snow crunched softly underfoot. It provided a tranquil soundtrack to the festive ambiance. Children, bundled up in cozy winter gear, reveled in the snowfall. Their laughter echoed as they built snowmen and waged playful snowball fights. The snow brought with it a sense of peace. It blanketed the town in a serene hush. It seemed to quiet the world and invite everyone to pause and appreciate the beauty of the season. The magic of Christmas Eve was about to unfold in this winter wonderland. In a cozy house on Pine Street, 8-year-old Emma gazed out the window. Her breath fogged the glass, momentarily obscuring the magical scene outside. But her heart saw only the wonder of Christmas. Her eyes sparkled brighter than the twinkling lights that adorned every home in Maplewood. Christmas was more than just a day for Emma. It was a feeling that filled her entire being. The anticipation of Christmas Eve had been building within her for weeks. Each day felt like a year as she counted down to her favorite night. It wasn't just the presents that filled her with excitement, though the thought of new toys brought a smile to her face. It was the magic that seemed to dance in the air, the spirit of giving, the joy that seemed to touch everyone. Emma, like most children her age, believed wholeheartedly in Santa Claus. She pictured him, a jolly figure in a red suit, his white beard flowing as he navigated his sleigh through the starry sky. The image brought a warmth to her heart. To Emma, Santa wasn't just a man. He was the embodiment of Christmas itself. She had spent hours poring over her Christmas list, carefully writing and rewriting it until it was perfect. Each gift request was infused with the innocent hope and excitement that only a child on Christmas Eve could possess. But more importantly, she had also written Santa a letter, her small hand carefully forming each word. It was a letter filled with gratitude for the joy he brought to the world and a burning question that only Santa could answer. Emma's mother, a woman with eyes as warm and comforting as a cup of hot cocoa on a snowy day, observed her daughter's excitement. She understood the allure of Santa Claus, the tangible magic he represented. But she also knew the deeper meaning of Christmas, the spirit that transcended presents and reindeer. As she tucked Emma into bed that night, she gently reminded her, "Christmas isn't just about Santa bringing gifts, sweetheart. It's about spreading joy, love, and kindness." Her voice was soft, yet it held the weight of a lesson she hoped Emma would carry with her long after the last of the presents were unwrapped. Emma, her eyelids growing heavy with sleep, snuggled deeper into her blankets. "I know, Mom," she mumbled, her voice barely a whisper. "But Santa's important because he reminds us of those things, right?" Even as exhaustion pulled at her, she held on to her convictions, her belief in Santa Claus and the magic he represented. Her mother smiled, her heart swelling with love for her daughter's innocence. "Exactly," she whispered, kissing Emma's forehead. "Santa embodies the spirit of Christmas. He teaches us to believe in magic, to be generous, and to keep hope alive in our hearts no matter how old we get." Her words planted a seed of wonder in Emma's young mind, a seed that would blossom as the night unfolded. Hours passed, and the house on Pine Street settled into a deep slumber. Outside, the snow fell steadily, blanketing the world in a hush. Emma fought against the tide of sleep. Her heart pounded with anticipation and excitement. She was determined to stay awake, to witness the magic. Then, just as Emma felt her eyelids growing heavy, a sound, faint yet unmistakable, reached her ears. It was a soft jingle, like the tinkling of bells carried on a winter breeze. Her eyes flew open, and she sat up in bed, her heart pounding in her chest. Holding her breath, she listened intently. The jingle came again, closer this time, followed by the soft thud of footsteps on the living room floor below. Emma, her bare feet barely making a sound on the hardwood floor, crept towards her bedroom door. With trembling hands, she slowly opened it a crack, just enough to peek out into the hallway. The glow of the Christmas tree lights spilled into the hallway, casting long, dancing shadows on the walls. And there in the living room stood a figure that made her breath catch in her throat. It was Santa Claus. There was no mistaking the red suit, the wide black belt, the boots polished to a shine. His back was turned to her as he bent over, carefully placing a gift under the Christmas tree. A wave of awe washed over Emma. He was even more magical than she had imagined. But as she watched, a single word escaped her lips, a whisper carried on the silent air. "Santa?" The word hung in the air between them, breaking the spell of the moment. Santa Claus turned, his head moving with a swiftness that belied his age. His eyes, twinkling like the star atop the Christmas tree, met hers. A wide smile spread across his rosy cheeks, crinkling the corners of his eyes. "Well, hello there, little one," he said, his voice a warm rumble that filled the room. Emma stood mesmerized, her small hand clutching the edge of the doorway. The sight of Santa Claus standing in her living room took her breath away. He seemed even larger than life, his presence filling the room with a warmth that had nothing to do with the crackling fire in the hearth. His smile, genuine and kind, reached his eyes, making them twinkle even brighter. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Emma couldn't believe her eyes, couldn't believe the magic she was witnessing. The skepticism that some adults tried to instill in her, the whispers that Santa Claus wasn't real, melted away like snowflakes on a warm mitten. In that instant, all that mattered was the undeniable truth before her. Santa Claus was real, and he was standing in her living room. I knew it was you!" Emma finally stammered, her voice barely a whisper. Her mind raced, trying to process the enormity of the moment. She had so many questions, so many things she wanted to ask, but the words seemed to get lost on their way from her brain to her tongue. She settled for the most pressing question, the one that had been burning inside her ever since she first learned about Santa Claus. How do you do it, Santa?" she asked, her voice filled with awe. "How do you visit every child in the world in just one night?" The question tumbled out of her, a mix of wonder and disbelief. The logistics of it all, the sheer impossibility of it, had always puzzled her. But now, seeing him standing before her, she knew there had to be an explanation, a magical secret that only Santa Claus possessed. Santa chuckled, a deep, booming sound that resonated through the room. "Ah, that's the question, isn't it?" he said, his voice filled with amusement. He knelt down, his eyes meeting Emma's. "It's not just about me, Emma," he said, his voice softening. "The magic of Christmas, the ability to reach every child, comes from something far greater than myself." He paused, letting his words sink in. "Christmas is about love, Emma," he continued, his voice filled with warmth. "It's about kindness, generosity, and the spirit of giving. It's about believing in something bigger than yourself, something magical and good." His eyes twinkled as he spoke, reflecting the twinkling lights of the Christmas tree behind him. "And that's where the true magic lies," Santa said, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "It's the belief, Emma, the belief of children like you, that makes it all possible. The belief in the good in the world, the belief in the spirit of Christmas, that's what fuels the magic." He reached out and gently patted her hand. "You see, Emma, every act of kindness, every gift given with love, every moment of joy shared with family and friends, it all adds to the magic of Christmas. It's a collective magic, a magic that we create together." His words washed over Emma, filling her with a sense of wonder and a newfound understanding of the true meaning of Christmas. It wasn't just about the presents, it was about the spirit of love and generosity that filled the air during this special time of year. Emma's young mind struggled to grasp the enormity of Santa's words. The concept of collective magic, of individual acts of kindness contributing to something larger than herself, was both exhilarating and humbling. Her small brow furrowed in thought as she tried to reconcile the image of Santa Claus delivering presents with this newfound understanding of a shared, universal magic. She looked up at Santa, her eyes wide with wonder. "So, it's not just you, Santa?" she asked, her voice a mix of curiosity and amazement. "It's all of us? We all help make the magic of Christmas?" The thought that she, a simple girl from Maplewood, played a part in something as extraordinary as Christmas filled her with a sense of responsibility and excitement. Santa smiled, his eyes twinkling with approval. "That's exactly right, Emma," he said, his voice warm and reassuring. "Every time you show kindness to someone, every time you help someone in need, every time you share a smile or a kind word, you're adding to the magic of Christmas." He pointed a finger at her, emphasizing his next words. "Think of it like ripples in a pond, Emma. When you throw a stone into the water, it creates ripples that spread out, touching everything in their path. Kindness is like that. It spreads out, touching the lives of everyone it encounters." Santa stood up, his presence still commanding despite his gentle demeanor. He placed a hand on Emma's shoulder, his touch light yet reassuring. "I may be the one who delivers the presents, Emma," he said, his voice filled with warmth. "But I'm..." A symbol, a reminder of the true spirit of Christmas. "The true spirit of Christmas lives within each and every one of us," he continued, his voice echoing with conviction. "It's the spirit of love, of compassion, of giving selflessly, without expecting anything in return. It's the spirit that shines brightest during this time of year, reminding us of the good that resides in all of us." "So, you see, Emma," Santa said, bending down to meet her gaze once more, "the greatest gift you can give, the gift that truly embodies the magic of Christmas, is the gift of your heart." He tapped a finger gently against her chest, right above her heart. "Carry that spirit with you, Emma, not just during Christmas but throughout the entire year," Santa urged, his voice filled with warmth and sincerity. "Spread kindness wherever you go, and never underestimate the power of your actions. For in giving of yourself, you receive the greatest gift of all, the gift of a heart filled with the true magic of Christmas." As the first rays of dawn peeked through the frost-covered window pane, Emma's eyes fluttered open. The events of the previous night came rushing back to her, a kaleidoscope of magic and wonder. Had she truly met Santa Claus, or had it all been an incredibly vivid dream? For a moment she wasn't sure. Then, she saw it. A single, brightly wrapped present lay at the foot of her bed, a tag with her name scrawled in familiar handwriting confirming the reality of Santa's visit. A wave of excitement washed over her, the thrill of new toys momentarily eclipsing the profound conversation she had shared with Santa. She scrambled out of bed, her bare feet padding across the cold hardwood floor, and reached for the present. It was surprisingly light, its contents a mystery waiting to be unveiled. As she tore away the wrapping paper, a soft gasp escaped her lips. Inside the box, nestled in tissue paper, lay a small, intricately carved wooden box. Emma carefully lifted the box, tracing the delicate carvings. As she lifted the lid, a sweet melody filled the air. Inside, on crimson velvet, lay a small, silver bell. She gave it a gentle shake and the clear sound filled the room. At that moment, her parents appeared in the doorway, their faces beaming with the joy of Christmas morning. "Merry Christmas, sweetheart," her mother exclaimed, her voice filled with love. "Did Santa bring you something special?" Emma looked up at her parents, her heart overflowing with emotions. The true magic of Christmas wasn't something you explained, it was something you felt. And in that moment, surrounded by love and the holiday spirit, Emma felt it with every fiber of her being. As Emma reached for her parents' hands, a warm feeling spread through her chest. The magic of Christmas, Santa's magic, was real. And in that realization, Emma discovered the greatest gift of all, the gift of believing.